Welcome to Cognitia Podcast.
Welcome to the Cognitia Podcast. In today's episode, we're exploring a leadership capability that often determines whether transformation succeeds or stalls. Our topic is strategic communication for change management success. When organizations plan change, they often focus on the visible parts of transformation. They think about new systems, revised processes, organizational restructuring, AI adoption, or shifting business models. Those things matter. But even the best change strategy can struggle if employees do not understand what is happening, why it matters, or how it affects their work. That is why change management communication is not a side activity. It is a core part of transformation success. In any organization, change creates questions before it creates results. Employees want to know what is changing, why the change is happening now, what it means for their role, and how success will be measured. If leaders do not answer those questions clearly, people fill the gaps with assumptions, and assumptions often lead to confusion, resistance, anxiety, and slow adoption. That is where strategic communication becomes so important. Communication during change is not simply about sharing information. It is about shaping how people understand the change, how they respond to it, and how confidently they can move through it. It helps leaders create clarity when uncertainty is high. It helps managers align teams when priorities are shifting. And it helps organizations build trust when employees are being asked to work in new ways. So in this episode, we'll look at why change management communication matters, what strong communication looks like during transformation, how leaders can improve stakeholder engagement, and why communication is one of the most important soft skills in modern enterprise leadership. Let's start with the basics. Most change initiatives are designed to improve something. The organization may want to increase efficiency, modernize operations, improve customer experience, adopt AI tools, strengthen collaboration, or prepare for future growth. But employees do not experience change as a strategy document. They experience it through their day-to-day work. They experience it through new expectations, new tools, new reporting lines, new priorities, and sometimes uncertainty about what the future will look like. That is why communication needs to do more than announce the change. It needs to interpret the change. People need help understanding what the transformation actually means for them. A leader may say, "We are moving to a new digital workflow," but employees want to know what that means in practice. Will their tasks change? Will the timeline for work change? Will they need training? Will the way performance is measured change? Will their role become more collaborative, more technical, or more customer-facing? These are the questions that shape how people respond to change. When leaders ignore those questions or answer them too late, resistance grows. Not always because employees are unwilling to change, but because they do not have enough clarity to move forward confidently. This is one reason strategic communication skills are so important in leadership. Good communicators do not just deliver updates. They create understanding. They connect the larger business goal to the daily reality of teams. They make complex change easier to interpret, and that makes it easier to adopt. Now let's talk about trust. Trust is one of the most important outcomes of strong communication during transformation. Employees are much more likely to support change when they believe leaders are being honest, transparent, and realistic about what is ahead. That does not mean leaders need to have every answer immediately. In many transformation efforts, some details will still be evolving. But employees can tell the difference between leaders who are open about uncertainty and leaders who avoid difficult conversations. A strong leadership communication strategy creates trust by doing three things well. First, it communicates early. Employees should not hear about major change only after decisions are finalized and implementation is already underway. Early communication helps people understand the direction and prepares them for what is coming. Second, it communicates consistently. Change cannot be explained once and then left alone. Teams need reinforcement, updates, reminders, and context as the initiative evolves. Without consistency, people lose focus or assume the change is no longer a priority. Third, it communicates practically. High-level messaging has its place, but employees also need to know what happens next. What are the immediate priorities? What support is available? What should managers focus on? What should teams stop doing, start doing, or do differently? This is where many organizations struggle. They communicate the vision, but not the operational meaning of the vision. Communication also plays a critical role in stakeholder engagement. Every transformation has multiple stakeholder groups, and each group sees the change from a different angle. Senior executives may focus on outcomes and timelines. Managers focus on execution and team performance. Employees focus on workload, expectations, and daily disruption. Support functions may focus on training, systems, compliance, or adoption challenges. If leaders use the same message for every audience, communication becomes too generic to be useful.
Effective stakeholder engagement means understanding what each group needs to hear and why.
It means giving executives visibility into progress, giving managers tools to lead their teams, and giving employees enough clarity to stay engaged. It also means making space for feedback, because communication is not only about broadcasting messages, it is also about learning how the change is being received. That point matters because frontline employees often spot challenges before leadership does. They may see that a new process is creating delays, that training is not reaching the right people, or that customers are reacting differently than expected. Leaders who listen to those signals can adjust faster and improve adoption. Leaders who do not listen may continue pushing a plan that looks good on paper but is struggling in practice.
This is why communication during transformation should never be treated as a one-time campaign. It is an ongoing capability.
The best organizations approach it as a continuous cycle. They explain the change, listen to reactions, clarify confusion, reinforce the message, and adjust the communication as the transformation progresses. They also equip managers to become communication leaders themselves, because employees often trust their direct manager more than a company-wide announcement. Managers play a particularly important role here. Even when communication originates at the leadership level, it is often managers who translate the message into everyday action. They explain how priorities are shifting, answer role-specific questions, and help teams navigate uncertainty. If managers are not prepared to do that well, even strong executive messaging can lose impact.
So how can organizations strengthen communication during change?
One important step is to make communication planning part of the change strategy from the beginning. It should not be added after the rollout plan is already built. Leaders need to identify who needs to hear what, when they need to hear it, which channels will be used, and how feedback will be collected. That planning becomes even more important when the transformation spans multiple departments, locations, or work models.
Another step is to make communication more human. Employees do not need polished language as much as they need clarity, relevance, and honesty. They want to know what leaders know, what leaders do not know yet, and what support will be available as things evolve. Clear communication lowers anxiety because it reduces uncertainty.
Organizations also need to recognize that communication is a leadership skill, not just a corporate messaging task. Leaders at every level need the ability to explain change, listen with intent, answer concerns, and reinforce direction.
This is why many enterprises now connect change communication with leadership development, manager readiness, and workforce transformation efforts.
As change becomes more constant, communication becomes one of the most valuable soft skills in the enterprise.
And that brings us to the big takeaway from today's episode.
Change initiatives succeed when people understand the purpose of the change, trust the direction, and feel supported through the transition. That is why change management communication matters so much.
It creates clarity in uncertainty.
It builds trust during disruption.
It improves stakeholder engagement.
And it helps leaders turn transformation from a top-down announcement into a shared organizational effort. In a world of digital transformation, AI adoption, and continuous business change, communication is no longer a supporting function. It is a strategic leadership capability. Leaders who communicate well help people adapt faster, stay engaged longer, and contribute more effectively to the future of the organization.
Thank you for listening to the Cognitia podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, explore more conversations on leadership, workforce transformation, enterprise learning, and digital change with Cognitia.
Until next time.